the revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.
Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Our Kings Competitions. We're here with a very happy Frank Smith. Frank, look, I've been trying to arrange an interview for the last sort of day or two, and we had a few delays, but it's probably a good job. You announced the signing of Ben Whittaker last night. I've got to say, two of the best promo videos I've ever seen. Eddie losing his mind and you turning into some form of action star. First off, just in your own words, how pleased are you to get this deal over the line? It feels like a landmark moment, especially over here in Britain.
I'd just like to say I delayed the interviews because I thought you'd be pissed off if you did an interview at 5 o'clock and we announced that at 7 and you didn't have anything on it. I was thinking about you, to be honest. Yeah, but look, buzzing. It's been years in the making. There's no secret. Obviously, when Ben turned over, we made a proposal for him. We wanted to work with him. We even shot a promo with him 3 years ago, which I'm sure some footage of that will come out over the next few days as well. He made the decision he made, of course. And, for us, it was always a fact of when he was free and clear and available, we were going to pursue him. Undoubtedly, and I said this on multiple occasions, he is, he's got the ability to be a superstar. He's already a star with what he's done so far in his career. But, what he can become, with the right backing, it's going to be huge. He's got everything. He's got the ability, he's got the talent, and he's got outside the ring. He understands it, and those promos, as you say there, two of the best. I think that I got shout out Alex Haynes. They came up with them on Tuesday or Wednesday. They shot them on Friday and they delivered them yesterday. They were working 24-hour days to get them together. Shout out Ben Whittaker though as well for the Show Me the Money promo because that was his idea. But yeah, it's exciting times. I think I've been in the sport a long time now, and when you get moments like this, it gives you a new buzz, and it's good for the whole sport as well. He's the kind of, a lot of fighters, and I said that I was on Talk Sport just a minute ago, a lot of fighters don't understand what you have to do, not just in the ring, but outside the ring. You can be the best talent on earth, but if you don't understand, you got to put the work in outside and you got to deliver entertainment, you're never going to make or maximize your potential. But Ben Whittaker's got it all, and I'm excited about the journey ahead. He's going to have in 14 months, he's going to have 4 fights. Momentum and activity is going to be key for him. And, he's still only 10 fights in. He's still learning. He's only 28 years old. He was actually quite young when you look at the sort of recent Olympians that have turned over, and I think he's got, like I say, every asset to go all the way to the top.
When you sign a guy like Ben Whittaker, especially, I suppose, in today's time where we're talking about a big thing of the past few months has been British boxing, and we've seen the influx of the Saudi shows and the terrific fights they're putting on, and you're almost getting sometimes 5 main events on the one card, and there's the talk of, well, could at least 2 or 3 of them have sold out the Echo, the O2. Does signing a guy like Ben Whittaker, does that sort of create that pathway now for the future to say, look, we've now got this next one come through in Britain, you can sort of, build the hype around him in this country as well. He's already got the hype, sorry, but you know what I mean? It's like another adage to that to say, look, we are still going to have the big nights here, and we have still got this superstar who's going to produce and going to be in big fights.
100%. I think when you look at the future of the sport, you look at like Conor Benn is an example, Ben Whittaker. You look at those two guys. For me, outside of your AJ's Furies, who are undoubtedly coming towards the end of their careers, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years, we're talking about a 5, 6, 7, 8 year vision of the sport. Ben Whittaker, Conor Benn are the 2 stars of the sport. In my eyes, I don't think there's anyone bigger in British boxing. And, that for us, that journey we're going to go on with Ben Whittaker and what we're going to build, what we believe we can build him into, he's going to go all the way to the top. We've done it time and time again. We've, for the last 15 years, we've been back in the sport, and it gives that, like I say, that new lease of life and energy to go out and and push on. And then you look at the young talent we've signed recently, like Leo Atang being a perfect example.
Yeah.
He is someone in 3, 4, 5 years time that's then going to, it's all about progressing and building, and doing that and developing people in the right way. So it's a very exciting time.
Was there, I suppose, was it, you mentioned, and I always thought that at some point, I remember Eddie, I think he must have spoke a few years ago about this, said, tried breaking the bank with him before. You mentioned there, he did the promo, everything was sort of going one way, and then, Boxer came in. Was there a worry this time, or more of a thing of, look, we have to get this over the line, we can't be going down this road again? Was the competition, was Frank Warren having the conversations? Was there still a talk with Ben Shalom at Boxer to continue a relationship? How was it? Was it frantic, or were you always quite sure, no, look, this will get done?
Look, I think, every single promoter, not just in the UK, but globally, wanted to sign Ben Whittaker. And of course, like I said in interviews before, you'd have to be blind not to see his value. And everyone was after him. That includes his previous promoter, that includes other promoters. For us, we're always very sensible in everything we do. Our business has been around for a long time. It will continue to be around long after I'm gone as well. Because we run a sensible business, but we also know when to invest and the right people to invest in. And Ben is one of those people. So, of course it was expensive. The promo showed that, Show Me the Money showed that. But we truly believe in what Ben can do. And, it's a long-term vision for us. Again, I go back to, this isn't like a 3-fight, 1-year deal. This is a long-term deal. And we're going to invest heavily into his career because we believe in where he can go to. So, yeah, everyone was after the man, and I'm excited we got him.
Is there a little bit of satisfaction from your side? And we know that promoter rivalry over the year has existed, but it's more, you've seen everyone work together now. Obviously, we mentioned influx of Teki Al-Sheikh. And you've always been a big advocate of, look, don't have to like it to do business with your kind of attitude. But was there a little bit of satisfaction knowing, look, you're getting this star from obviously a promoter that's, I suppose they're now gone onto the BBC, they're starting their new chapter, but he was one of their major assets. He was their major asset. Is there any sort of satisfaction you take out of that going, we've got a little bit of a piece of their puzzle kind of thing?
It's never like everything we do is with logic behind it, not just dislike. My opinion on the people we're talking about. Like, I've never sat and shied away from giving my view, but we don't ever make decisions. And I'm not an emotional character. I don't make decisions based on, we get one over here. We make decisions based on, does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And, without question, signing Ben Whittaker makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, it's not, if you get stuck in that, in my opinion, you're in the wrong business, because you'll spend your whole time raging going, we've got to do this because we get one up on them. Don't get me wrong, it's a huge signing, a massive signing, but not for the reason of, they're now finished. They were finished anyway. It didn't take Ben Whittaker leaving for them to be finished. This is just a little bit of dust.
Do you not believe with that platform on the BBC, because it's obviously free to air, it's a good avenue for boxing, whether you believe they're finished or not? Is it not a good thing, I suppose, that's on free to air? Obviously, aside from the business that you're doing, is it a different model?
Yeah, but it's different viewership. It's like Channel 5 showing boxing and doing 1.5 million viewers. It's when you look at a DAZN, a Sky Sports, the people watching those programs, those shows, that content, are people who are genuinely interested in sports. And when they're watching boxing, and on these terrestrial channels, you get a lot of viewers, of course, but not necessarily people who are going to follow boxing. Don't get me wrong, everyone investing in the sport is good. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't just mean, I think using those platforms in other ways can help, while also sitting on a platform that delivers sports fans, as my view. But look, everything's good. Investment in the sport is good. You can't say any differently than that.
Look, I've got sort of two more points I want to touch on. The big fight week in Sheffield, Dave Allen versus Makhmudov. I spoke to Eddie the other day. I think he's a bit gutted he can't be in two places at once, because the history with Dave Allen, obviously you've been there and around him. and this is not to be sort of one-sided, but because we're from, obviously, Britain, we know the story of him and what this kind of would do for him. And look, I think by all accounts, not to count his pocket, he's made some good investments outside the ring from what he said in terms of houses and stuff. But you know yourself, if he wins on Saturday, the doors this unlocks to potential fights. Eddie's saying, AJ needs to come back, and we're looking at opponents. His commercial value will still be up there. 8,000 tickets sold. We know he's done the majority of them. How excited are you for this week? And it's a good card.
Yeah, I can't wait, and I'm so happy for Dave Allen as well. And I have to be honest, probably 2 years ago, I said Dave Allen should retire, right? But that was because that was the Dave Allen you'd seen and the things you'd heard. He's a completely different man right now. He's in the form of his life, and he's taking it seriously. And I saw a clip of Jamie Moore talking about ice cream sandwiches as an example. Like Dave never really has given himself to the sport like he has now. And he's been in there with the best. He's been in there with the best names, both in fight and in sparring. He's got the experience. And if he can beat this guy on Saturday night, and respect to him as well for taking it, he could have had a much easier fight. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
But he wanted someone that scared him to go and work in the gym and, deliver the biggest performance of his life. So, look, Dave's done well, but this takes him to a whole new level if he wins on Saturday night and sets up huge fights for him to come. And it couldn't happen to a nicer person because he's just a genuine nice bloke. And I'm so happy for him. So huge night on Saturday. We're going to have close to 10,000 people in there come Saturday night. It's going to be some atmosphere in Sheffield Arena, and I'm excited about what the future holds for him. He's got a tough test. You got Junaid Boston, Bilal Fawaz as well, chief support on that show's brilliant. Josh Padley against Reece Belotti's on there as well. So buzzing for Saturday, and then we're obviously in Philadelphia as well. Yeah, Eddie's very upset that he can't time travel.
Yeah, I bet. Look, last one from me. I spoke to Eddie about this. Get the same from you. Dana White, obviously the comments he's made, I think about a week ago about the governing bodies. We mentioned how different entities are good for boxing. They shine eyes, new audiences. But he's quite firm in what he says about not working with the sanctioning bodies and stuff like that. And when you're a Maurizio Sulaiman and Mendoza, when you're looking going, we've been around for as days long. For a fighter to pick them belts up, it's a part of history. It's a part of your makeup. Is that, in your opinion, too much of a shake-up?
Nothing's too much of a shake-up if it works, is it? But
No.
It's something that's going to take a long, long time if it does work. These governing bodies, as you say, sanctioning bodies have been around for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, maybe some even longer. And I think this plan that they're looking at is not a 6-month, 12-month, 18-month plan. It's obviously a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year plan where you change the mindset of fighters, because fighters coming through, they want to win belts, And then bear in mind, the fighters pay huge sanction fees to fight for those belts,
Yeah.
So it's the history of the sport. I think, look, what Dana White and, those guys have done is sensational across a whole host of different products. You even look, whether you like Power Slap or not, look at the brand they've created, and that's what they do. Yeah, but they create brands, don't they? And, fair play to them. And I have no doubt that they'll create a huge brand in boxing, of course, but I don't think they'll ever create what they've created in UFC, because this is a sport with heritage that's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah. Fair. Well, look, I appreciate you giving us some time just after nipping out from TalkSport. And yeah, look, I'll catch up with you in Sheffield in the next couple of days, bud. Appreciate it.
Look forward to it. Cheers, pal.
Thank you.
The revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.